All right, let's be honest. Have you ever stood in the supplement aisle, just staring at the wall of bottles, feeling totally lost? Yeah, me too. It's a crazy, confusing world out there. But today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're zeroing in on B vitamins, and we're going to decode what all those buzzwords, natural, synthetic, activated, actually mean. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what you're looking at on that label. So, let's get into it.
So you might be wondering, why are we all so focused on supplements anyway? Well, this quote from Rebel Health really hits the nail on the head. Our food has changed. You know, modern farming has done amazing things for feeding people, but it's also changed the nutrient game. Studies are showing that the fruits, veggies, and grains we eat today just don't have the same punch, the same level of vitamins and minerals that they did decades ago. And that right there creates a gap between what our bodies need and what our food can actually give us.
And that gap is exactly what sends us into the supplement aisle, right back to that wall of choices. You're standing there, you're trying to do the right thing for your health, and bam, you're hit with all this jargon: natural, activated, bioavailable. I mean, what does it all even mean? Is one better than the other? How are you supposed to choose? That's the puzzle we're going to piece together today.
All right, so let's get right into the big question on everyone's mind.
Natural versus synthetic. It's the question we all ask, right? And our gut tells us, of course, natural is better. It just feels right. But, and this is a big but, when you actually dig into the science, you find out it's not that simple. Not at all.
So, to figure this out, let's look at a really high-quality study. We're talking about a double-blind, randomized clinical trial, which is basically the gold standard in research. What they did was they took two groups of healthy people. One group got a B complex made from a natural source, in this case quinoa seedlings. The other group got the standard, run-of-the-mill synthetic B complex. Then, the scientists just sat back and measured what was happening in their bodies.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It's not what happened when they were taking the vitamins, but what happened after they stopped. So everyone stops taking their pills, and what happens? The group on the synthetic B12, their levels just plummeted right back down to where they started. But look at the natural group. Their B12 levels stayed elevated. They actually retained more of it. It was a much more lasting effect.
So what's the verdict here? Well, officially, the study said there was no major statistical difference in how much the body absorbed overall. So no knockout punch for one side or the other. But, and this is a big but, the researchers saw these little hints, these favorable tendencies for the natural group. Things like that longer-lasting B12 and some better markers for stuff like homocysteine and antioxidant activity. It's a clue that there's more to the story than just natural versus synthetic.
And that deeper layer, that next piece of the puzzle, is this idea of activated vitamins. Honestly, this is where it gets really cool, because it shifts the whole conversation. It's not just about where the vitamin came from. It's about the form it's in when it gets to your body.
Okay, quick pause. We have to define a key term you're going to hear a lot: bioavailability. It sounds technical, but it's super simple. Bioavailability is just the amount of a nutrient that your body can actually absorb and use. Think of it this way. It doesn't matter what you swallow, it only matters what your body can actually grab onto and put to work. That's bioavailability.
And this is the best way I've ever heard it explained, the key analogy. Imagine a standard vitamin is like a blank key, fresh from the hardware store. Your body has to be the locksmith. It has to take that blank key and do a bunch of work, a bunch of metabolic steps to cut it into the perfect shape to fit the lock on your cells. But an activated vitamin, that's like a pre-cut key. It arrives ready to go, no locksmith needed. It just fits the lock, opens the door, and gets to work right away.
So let's look at some real-world examples of this. Take vitamin B6. The standard form, the key blank, is something called pyridoxine hydrochloride. Your body has to go through a whole process to turn that into the pre-cut key, which is called pyridoxal 5-phosphate, or just P5P. Same thing with B12. The standard form is cyanocobalamin. Your body has to convert it into the activated form, methylcobalamin. And here's the kicker. That conversion process can be a real bottleneck. Things like your genetics, your age, even how healthy your gut is, can slow it way down.
Okay, enough theory. Let's see how this all plays out in the real world.
We're going to do a little case study. We're putting two actual B-complex products head-to-head to see these exact concepts in action on a real label.
So in one corner, we have B-Active from Zymogen. Its whole strategy is using those activated, ready-to-use forms we've been talking about. In the other corner, we've got Neurobion, which is a really popular brand. Their strategy is different. They focus on super high doses of just 3 B vitamins, B1, B6, and B12 that they call neurotropic, meaning for the nerves. So right off the bat, you see two totally different approaches.
Let's kick things off with vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Neurobion uses the standard form thiamine hydrochloride, which is water-soluble. Pretty standard stuff. B-Active, though, uses something different, a form called benfotiamine, and the crucial difference is that this one is fat-soluble. And believe me, that one little change makes a huge, huge difference in how your body can use it.
How huge? Well, get this. Studies show that benfotiamine, that fat-soluble form, can boost the thiamine levels in your blood and tissues by at least 5 times more than the standard water-soluble kind. 5 times. And not only that, it sticks around in your body almost 4 times longer. That's not just a little better, that is a massive upgrade.
All right, next up, vitamin B9 or folate. Now, a lot of supplements use something called folic acid. That's the synthetic version, and it needs a lot of those key-cutting conversion steps in the body. B-Active, on the other hand, uses an activated form called quattrofolic. What that does is deliver the folate as 5-MTH, which is the final, ready-to-use form your body needs. It completely skips all those conversion steps, which, by the way, is a really big deal for the huge number of people who have genetic quirks that make it hard to process folic acid properly.
And again, look at these numbers. They're just staggering. A study showed that when people took 5-MTHF, the same form that's in B-Active, their plasma levels were 700% higher than people who took the same amount of regular folic acid. Let that sink in. 700%. That is not a small tweak. That is an absolute game changer.
So let's just pull back and look at the scoreboard here. This table really lays it all out. Down the line, you can see the pattern. For the big B vitamins, B1, B6, B12, and even B9, B-Active is consistently using the pre-cut key, the activated or more absorbable form. Neurobion, on the other hand, is using the standard key blanks, the forms that make your body do all that extra conversion work.
Okay, so we've gone through a lot of science, but what does this all actually mean for you? What's the bottom line? Why should you care about the difference between a standard vitamin and an activated one?
Well, for some people, it can be absolutely crucial. Think about anyone with those common genetic hiccups in folate metabolism, like the MTHFR variation we mentioned. For them, an activated form isn't just better, it might be necessary. Same goes for people with digestive problems that might mess with nutrient conversion. And honestly, it's for anyone who just wants to make sure they're getting their money's worth and bypassing any of those potential roadblocks in their body. You want to get what you pay for, right?
And at the end of the day, it all comes back to this. As this quote says so well, there is no one-size-fits-all pill. It just doesn't exist. Your body, your genes, your lifestyle, they're all unique to you. And that's exactly why winging it isn't the best idea. Chatting with a doctor or a knowledgeable practitioner who can look at the whole picture is key. They can help you build a roadmap that's actually designed for you.
Now, I want to be super clear. The point of this whole explainer was not to say product A is good and product B is bad. That's not it at all. The goal was to empower you, to give you the knowledge so that the next time you pick up a bottle, you can be the expert. You can look at the label, see those long chemical names, and know, that's the key blank, and that one is the pre-cut key.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Go look. The next time you're in that aisle, or maybe just go to your cabinet right now and pull out your B-complex. Read the label. Now that you know how to decode it, what's really in your vitamin bottle?